Hi guys, Mayflom here, and today I'm going to color one of the Crazy Dogs from the Tim Holtz set, Crazy Dogs, and I'm going with the Bulldog here. I just love how he looks all cranky, and I'm going to do this using Distress inks. I have a water brush here, and I'm going to start with Rusty Hinge because I like Rusty Hinge, and because I think it'll be a good color. So I just stamped it on my dirty, but hey, it's well loved, okay? There's no pristine in this studio. Stamped it on there, and now I'm just coloring in. Now my dog himself, my Rusty boy here, he is stamped with some clear watermark ink and then heat set. I heat set some black embossing powder. And I'm just gonna start by getting an overall color layer. I love watercolor technique with the Distress inks for a couple of reasons. Number one, if I'm on the go, I've got my Distress inks right there, and guess what? They're there, they're easy, they're ready to use. I know exactly what colors are gonna be there. I know it's gonna be high quality, I know it's gonna be beautiful. Super, so I mean, I can't go wrong on there. So I like starting from there. Now, I do love to go in here and mix and match. So in other words, if I don't have the right brown or the right something, I can use any other kind of watercolor in addition to this. Okay, but for today, for this guy, I don't think we're going to need to get into other colors. I'm going to try some frayed burlap here. He's a little on the orange side, and I knew that would be the case. That's okay. I'm going to pick up some frayed burlap, and I'm going to start once again at that darkest corner and play with adding a little of that in. Okay, so I'm going to play with we're going to get some frayed burlap going in here, just really light, and I try to keep a light squeeze on the water so that there's a lot of water going into this. I want a lot of water going into this because I don't want it to be streaky. And this is on watercolor paper. That will be important for you, because if you try to do this on regular paper just is not meant to hold up to the amount of water and such. Now, you know what? I like that, but I think we have room to play still. So I'm actually going to go dark now. Let's go into ground espresso. I love, by the way, that you can just use a nonstick mat. You can use a piece of plastic, whatever you want. And I'm going to start on this darker end. I just realized I haven't colored his tail yet. We'll start on that darker end. And I'm just playing, guys. This is how I like to do these kinds of images. It's why I have so much fun with the Distress. And here's another thing that I love. There's almost no waste. There's almost no waste, because instead of getting anything out that I would need, and maybe I mix too much of a color or too little, I'm just putting these little tiny amounts of ink on here and mixing and matching. And now I'm getting kind of crazy with just like random blending. If you get to doing a lot of water and color, you might want to give it a moment, or use your heat tool for a moment and set. I really can't say enough about this kind of a technique because it's so easy. And the thing I love about it is these little Distress inks, I can do so much with them. I can use them, obviously, to stamp a stamp. I can use them to color. Okay, so I can stamp with a Distress ink and then use clear embossing powder, and the color of the Distress ink will be what shows up. And that's one of my favorite things to do because it's such a cool look. I'm just squeezing more and more water. There we go. Keep it nice and fluid here. So much fun, you guys. I'm loving this. And I can get such a depth of color, and these are colors I use and know. That's another thing that's really a favorite of mine, is because I use Distress ink so much, I know it pretty well, which means that I know that which colors I'm gonna wanna go to, or which colors I think should be used or go well with each other and all of that fun stuff. I love that because it really means that I've got hickory smoke here, although, whoa, my hickory smoke is labeled as seedless preserves. That would have been interesting, and that one's labeled as Pumastone. Oh, how funny. I've got a whole mix up here. Whoops. That's hilarious. Okay. All right, we will just fix that right up there. And go again. Let's try again, because you actually can use purple, but on this particular instance, I don't think I'm going to want to go that route. And one of the things I've noticed when I do these watercolor images, I like a really loose style. I don't mind if there's an imperfect spot or there's this or there's that. I kind of like it. It's kind of something I dig actually about it. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of this purple actually right in here. Yeah, believe it or not, that'll actually work. So, and I'm going to get a little more darkness in here. I take my time with something like this. I mean, you can do it really quick, but I like to just kind of take my time and play around with just the image, especially since this is the first time I've colored this particular dog. So I like playing with, am I happy with the colors? Do I want something different, something more? You know what? I'm going to add a little more of that purple. I'm liking that purple in there. Just make sure I get enough brown as well. Oops, too much purple. If we do too much, it's not a problem. Check this out. Paper towel, blot it off, and then add a little more of something else here. Let's come up here, rinse out my water brush, and come up here for some of these browns. Yep, there we go. It was I just went slightly too far. That's okay. Not a problem. And I think that's it. I might go back in with a little bit of Rusty Hinge, just so I think a little bit of that Rusty Hinge color, just to add maybe a little up here. Yeah, maybe a little bit up there. And I think maybe just a little bit down here in the middle. He's a fun little guy. So happy. Just kidding. So I'm going to put stickles on his collar, and I think his collar is going to be a blue color. If I do a dog with a lot of kind of reddish undertones, I like, actually, you know what? I'll use the purple. I'll use the purple. So he's going to get a purple collar. There we go. And I'll just come back in with some stickles, add a few little drops, and add my little sentiment here, and I'll show you my final card. If you've got any questions, comments, requests, anything else you can think of, feel free to let me know. I'll see you next time. I hope you had fun coloring with me today.